In a land where wisdom flowed like a river and silence carried the weight of centuries, there lived a revered sage, one who would later be known to the world as Gautam Buddha. His words, though gentle as a whisper, carried the force of 1,000 storms. He spoke of a power greater than wealth, sharper than any sword, the power of words. To his devoted followers, he revealed a simple yet profound truth. The tongue, though small, could wound deeper than any blade. Words once spoken could build or destroy, heal or harm, uplift or shatter. They did not leave visible scars, yet their impact on the heart could linger for a lifetime. With great wisdom, he taught that words, when used recklessly, could sow seeds of discord and suffering. But when spoken with care, with kindness, and with intention, they became a bridge to understanding, a force that could shape destiny itself. Among the rustling leaves and the gentle murmur of brooks, the Buddha wove stories to illustrate the peril of unguarded speech. He cautioned that silence, when embraced with wisdom, was not mere absence of sound, but a gateway to deeper understanding. It was in silence, he said, that one could truly listen, not just to others, but to the quiet truths within. And so, in the stillness of ancient India, a tale unfolded. A tale that would illuminate the hidden power of silence, a tale that would change the life of a restless king. Once, in the heart of a forest untouched by time, there lived a revered Buddhist monk. He had forsaken the noise of the world, choosing instead to dwell in harmonious solitude. Yet his silence spoke louder than any words, drawing seekers from distant lands, all yearning to drink from the wellspring of his wisdom. One day, this tranquil refuge was interrupted by an unexpected visitor, the king himself. Though draped in the finest silks and adorned with the riches of his vast empire, his eyes betrayed a deep unrest. He had conquered lands, commanded armies, and basked in endless luxury. Yet peace eluded him. His heart was burdened, his mind ceaselessly restless. "Respected monk," the king implored, "I have everything a man could desire, yet my soul is in turmoil. I seek the tranquility that has escaped me, the peace that no wealth can buy. Please guide me to the stillness I so desperately long for." The monk, his gaze steady as the mountains, listened in silence. And then, after a moment that stretched into eternity, he spoke. "Noble king," he said, "the peace you seek is not beyond you, but within. You have been searching in the wrong places. I offer you a path, a simple yet transformative journey, but you must walk it with an open heart. Are you willing?" A flicker of hesitation crossed the king's face. He had fought battles, led men into war, and wielded power beyond measure. But could he surrender to this path of silence? Yet his yearning for peace outweighed his fear of the unknown. With a solemn nod, he agreed. And so, the experiment began. For the next 15 days, the king would reside in the monastery, not as a ruler, but as a humble seeker. He would observe a vow of silence, speaking only when absolutely necessary. The first day was a battle unlike any the king had ever fought. His mind, accustomed to ceaseless chatter, rebelled against the quiet. Questions swirled, doubts gnawed at him. He longed to break the silence, to fill the void with words. But he held firm. As the sun dipped below the horizon, something shifted. Amidst the rustling trees and the distant call of birds, he felt the first whisper of stillness. The thoughts that had once raced uncontrollably began to slow, dissolving like mist in the morning light. Days passed, and the transformation deepened. The world around him, once a blur, now revealed its hidden wonders. He noticed the way the wind played with the leaves, the way the river sang as it danced over stones, the way the stars blinked like ancient sentinels in the night sky. The peace he had sought for so long was not in the throne room, not in the weight of gold, not in the echoes of applause. It was here, in the simplicity of the present moment, in the quietude that had once seemed unbearable. By the 12th day, his silence was no longer a burden, it was a refuge. As he sat by a tranquil pond, watching his reflection ripple with the water's gentle movement, he closed his eyes. And for the first time in his life, he truly meditated. With each breath, the burdens of his past unraveled. The voices of doubt faded. The restlessness that had haunted him melted away. In its place, there was only stillness, deep, unshakable, profound. On the final day, the king approached the monk. But this time, he was a different man. His eyes, once clouded with turmoil, now shone with clarity. His voice, though steady, carried the weight of newfound understanding. "Respected monk," he said, "I see now what I could not before. My unrest was never caused by the world around me. It was the constant noise within me, the words I spoke carelessly, the thoughts I entertained mindlessly, the energy I wasted in meaningless chatter. In that endless noise, I lost myself. But in silence, I have found my true self again." The monk smiled, his eyes crinkling with the wisdom of ages. "My dear king," he said, "you have uncovered a truth that many never realize. Excessive words scatter the mind, drain the spirit, and cloud the essence of life. Silence, when embraced with wisdom, is not emptiness. It is clarity, it is focus, it is strength. The tongue is a powerful tool, but it must be wielded with care. When you speak, let your words be measured, intentional and kind, for in that restraint lies true power." The monk then shared a tale, a lesson that had been passed down through generations. "Long ago," he began, "a curious student asked the Buddha why he so often remained silent. And with a gentle smile, the Buddha replied, 'I choose silence to journey within myself. It is in the depths of silence that one discovers the true self. Without silence, self-discovery remains elusive.'" The king bowed, his heart full of gratitude. He had come seeking peace, and he had found it, not through conquest, not through wealth, but through stillness. And so, my dear friends, remember this. The power of silence is the first step toward true wisdom. In a world overflowing with noise, it is in stillness that we hear the voice of our own soul. When you master silence, your words gain weight, your presence radiates peace, and your path becomes one of purpose and clarity. Embrace the quiet. Let your words be few, but meaningful. In the stillness, you will find yourself. And in finding yourself, you will discover the boundless peace that has been waiting for you all along. In a world where noise ruled every corner, where words spilled endlessly like an untamed river, there lived a young man named Zen. Unlike the serene silence that wise sages embraced, Zen was a man of constant chatter. He spoke about everything, to everyone, at every possible moment. He argued passionately, debated fiercely, and made sure his voice was always the loudest in any conversation. Yet, despite his endless talking, Zen felt strangely disconnected from others, from himself, from the deeper truths of life. He spoke to be heard, but never truly listened. He shared his thoughts freely, but never paused to reflect on their meaning. He mistook the act of speaking for wisdom, never realizing that true understanding was born not in words, but in silence. One day, as Zen wandered through the forest, his words echoing between the trees, he came across an old man sitting beneath the shade of a towering tree. Unlike Zen, the old man did not speak. He simply sat in perfect stillness, his presence radiating a quiet peace that Zen had never encountered before. Intrigued, Zen approached him. "Why do you sit in silence?" Zen asked, unable to contain his curiosity. "What wisdom can be found in saying nothing at all?" The old man opened his eyes and smiled, his face weathered by time, yet illuminated by a quiet serenity. "I choose silence," he said, "because I have learned that words alone cannot capture the essence of life. I once spoke as much as you do. I believed that the louder I was, the more I would be understood. But I discovered that the more I spoke, the less I listened. And the less I listened, the more I lost my way." Zen frowned. "But words help us communicate. How can silence be more powerful than speech?" The old man gestured to the forest around them. "Tell me, young man, do the trees speak? Do the rivers argue? Does the wind shout to be heard?" Zen shook his head. "No, but that's different. They are not human. We need words to express ourselves." The old man smiled knowingly. "And yet, the trees grow strong, the rivers carve through mountains, and the wind carries the whispers of the earth without ever speaking a single word. Silence does not mean absence. It is in silence that we hear what truly matters. It is in silence that wisdom takes root." For the first time, Zen was at a loss for words. A seed of curiosity had been planted within him, a longing to understand the power of silence that the old man spoke of. And so, he made a decision that would change his life forever. "I want to learn," Zen said. "Teach me the way of silence." The old man nodded, his eyes gleaming with approval. "Then your journey begins now. For the next 40 days, you will not speak unless absolutely necessary. Instead, you will listen to others, to nature, and most importantly, to yourself. Only then will you understand the wisdom that silence holds." At first, the challenge seemed impossible. The urge to speak was overwhelming. Zen had spent his entire life filling the air with words, and now, faced with silence, he felt exposed, vulnerable. His mind screamed for distractions, for conversation, for anything to fill the quiet. But as the days passed, something began to change. The world around him, once drowned out by his own voice, came alive. He heard the rustling of leaves, as if for the first time. He noticed the rhythm of his own breath, the unspoken emotions on people's faces, the weight of words before they were even spoken. With every moment of silence, he felt himself growing more attuned to the world. He realized how often people spoke without meaning, how frequently they filled conversations with empty words. He observed how arguments escalated simply because no one was truly listening. He saw how silence could calm tension, how a single pause could change the course of a conversation. On the 20th day, Zen encountered a group of villagers locked in a heated argument. He stood at a distance, watching as voices rose, tempers flared, and understanding faded. His old self would have rushed in, eager to prove his point, to win the debate. But now he simply listened. And in that listening, something remarkable happened. He saw not just their words, but the emotions behind them. He noticed the fear in their voices, the frustration in their gestures. He understood that their anger was not directed at each other, but at their own unresolved fears. Without speaking, he stepped forward. The villagers, expecting him to take a side, waited for his words, but he gave them none. He simply looked at each of them with quiet understanding, his presence alone urging them to hear one another. The shouting ceased, the anger softened, and slowly the argument unraveled, replaced by reflection. Without saying a single word, Zen had shifted the energy of the entire moment. From that day forward, word of his newfound wisdom spread. People sought him not for his voice, but for his silence. His ability to listen, to truly hear, became a gift greater than any words he could have spoken. Zen had learned what few ever do, that silence is not emptiness, but presence. That in stillness, the greatest truths are revealed. That when words are spoken with restraint, they carry the weight of wisdom. His journey continued, But he no longer sought to fill space with sound. He embraced the quiet, knowing that in its depths lay a power far greater than speech. And so, my dear friends, remember this. Silence is not the absence of words, but the presence of understanding. When you learn to quiet your mind, to listen more than you speak, you will uncover a world of wisdom that has always been there, waiting for you to hear it. Speak less, listen more, and you will find that the truest lessons are not taught in words, but in the spaces between them. There are moments in life when silence speaks louder than words, when the greatest wisdom is not found in speaking, but in listening. It is in these moments that the true power of stillness is revealed, not as an absence, but as a presence. And it was this very lesson that a lost traveler was about to discover on the edge of despair. The traveler, startled by the unexpected question, clenched their fists. "What concern is it of yours? This is my life. I will do with it as I see fit." The monk nodded thoughtfully. "Indeed, your life is yours. But tell me, if you have truly left everything behind, why do you still carry such a heavy burden?" Confusion flickered across the traveler's face. "What burden?" they asked bitterly. "My hands are empty. I own nothing. I have nothing left." The monk turned, his eyes filled with a quiet understanding. "Your hands may be empty," he said, "but your heart is not. It is weighed down by the past you refuse to release, by the regrets you carry like chains, by the fear that grips you even now. You have abandoned everything except the very things that have been hurting you." The traveler's breath caught. No one had ever spoken to them this way before. No one had ever truly seen them. Lowering their gaze, they whispered, "Then tell me, wise one, how do I let go?" The monk nodded. "And yet, before you released it, you carried it as if it were part of you. The same is true for your pain. The past only weighs you down because you refuse to let it go. Your suffering is not who you are, it is only something you are holding on to." The traveler stood motionless, watching the ripples spread across the water. Could it really be that simple? Could the burdens they had carried for so long truly be released with nothing more than a choice? The monk turned to leave, but before he did, he placed a gentle hand on the traveler's shoulder. "Your past is not your prison unless you make it one. Let go, and you will be free." And with that, he walked away, disappearing into the forest as silently as he had come. The traveler remained by the river for a long time, their heart pounding with a newfound understanding. The pain of the past had not vanished in an instant, but something had shifted. A door had opened, revealing a path they had never seen before. A path not of endings, but of beginnings. And so they took their first step forward, not away from life, but toward it. This is the wisdom of the Buddha, that the past is a story already written, but the future is a blank page. That suffering is not an eternal sentence, but a lesson meant to be learned. That the only thing holding us back from peace is our own unwillingness to embrace the present moment. So ask yourself, what burdens are you still carrying? What stones do you grip so tightly, believing them to be part of you? And more importantly, are you ready to let them go? The power of the mind is far greater than we realize. It can be a source of endless suffering or the key to unshakable peace. Most people live trapped by their thoughts, chained to memories of the past or anxieties about the future. They become prisoners of their own minds, unable to fully experience the present moment. "You have tasted the freedom that silence brings," he said. "Now you understand why I do not speak more than necessary. Words are powerful, but silence reveals truths that words never can." The traveler nodded, a deep sense of clarity settling within them. The monk stood and gestured toward the road ahead. "Your journey is not over. Life will continue to test you. Pain will still come. Doubts will still arise. But now you have the tools to face them. You are no longer a prisoner of your mind. You are its master. The traveler took a deep breath, feeling lighter than they ever had before. They had come to this place believing they had lost everything, but they were leaving with something far greater than they had ever possessed. And as they walked forward, they knew they would never be the same again. This is the wisdom of the Buddha, that the mind is both the cause of suffering and the path to liberation. That freedom does not come from controlling the world, but from mastering oneself. That in the stillness of silence, in the space between thoughts, we find the truth that has been waiting for us all along. So ask yourself, are you a prisoner of your mind, or are you ready to become its master? The journey to inner peace is not found in escaping life's challenges, but in learning how to navigate them with wisdom. Most people live their days reacting, allowing their emotions to be dictated by the words of others, by circumstances beyond their control, by the endless noise of the world. But true strength is found not in controlling the world, but in controlling oneself. This is what the Buddha taught. That discipline of the mind leads to mastery of life. And it was this lesson that the traveler, now awakened to a new way of being, would come to understand even more deeply. As they continued their journey alongside the wise monk, the traveler found themselves facing situations that once would have triggered frustration, anger, or sorrow. Yet now, something had changed. They no longer felt the need to react impulsively to every provocation. They no longer allowed their emotions to be tossed about like a leaf in the wind. Instead, they observed, just as the monk had taught them, to watch their thoughts, to let emotions rise and fall like waves upon the shore without being carried away by them. The traveler sat quietly, absorbing the lesson. They had spent their life chasing happiness, trying to hold on to moments of peace, fearing that they would slip away. But now they saw the truth. Peace was not something to be chased. It was always there, waiting, if only they knew how to find their way back to it. The next day, as they walked through a bustling village, the traveler witnessed an argument unfolding between two merchants. Voices were raised, anger burned in their eyes, each man trying to prove himself right while the other refused to back down. The traveler, once prone to arguing, felt an old urge rise within them, to step in, to voice an opinion, to add to the noise. But instead, they remembered the lesson of silence. They stood quietly, watching, listening, not just to the words, but to the emotions beneath them. The anger was not truly about the dispute at hand. It was about ego, about pride, about the unwillingness to let go. Instead of speaking, the traveler simply made eye contact with both men. They did not take sides, they did not argue. They simply observed with an expression of deep understanding. The merchants, sensing the silent presence of the traveler, began to lower their voices. The intensity of their argument faded, and for a brief moment, they too became aware of their own anger. They paused, reflected, and eventually parted ways, no longer consumed by their need to win. The travelers smiled to themselves. For the first time, they had truly understood the power of restraint, the strength in silence, the wisdom in knowing that not every battle needs to be fought. As the sun set, they turned to the monk. "I see it now," they said. "Before, I believed that wisdom meant having all the right answers, but now I realize wisdom is knowing when to speak and when to remain silent, when to act and when to simply observe." The monk nodded. "And that," he said, "is the beginning of true understanding. This is the path of mindfulness, to live not in reaction, but in awareness, to recognize that silence is not weakness, but power, that in the space between stimulus and response, we find freedom. So ask yourself, Do you react or do you respond? Do you allow the world to dictate your emotions or do you master your own mind? Because the answer to these questions will determine the course of your life. The greatest wisdom is not in knowing all the answers, but in understanding that silence holds the key to most of them. As the traveler continued their journey, they no longer sought to fill every moment with words. They no longer chased after peace as if it were something outside of them. Instead, they lived each moment fully, observing, listening, and understanding. One day, as they sat beside the monk beneath the shade of a great tree, the traveler posed a final question. "Master, if silence is so powerful, why do people fear it? Why do they fill every moment with words, with noise, with distractions?" The monk gazed at the sky for a long moment before answering. "Because silence forces us to face ourselves," he said. "Most people fear what they will find in the quiet, their thoughts, their regrets, their truth. And so, they run from it, filling their lives with endless distractions, believing that if they keep moving, they will not have to face what lies within." The traveler nodded slowly, feeling the depth of those words. "But those who embrace silence," the monk continued, "those who sit with it, who listen to it, who welcome it as a teacher, they are the ones who truly find themselves." The traveler closed their eyes, breathing deeply, letting the stillness settle within them. They thought of who they had been when this journey began, restless, lost, drowning in the noise of their own mind. And now, after all they had learned, after all they had experienced, they realized something profound. They were no longer the same person. The burdens that once weighed them down had been lifted. The need to always speak, to always be heard, had faded. The endless search for peace had ended, because peace had never been something to find. It had always been within them, waiting for them to notice it. When they opened their eyes, the monk was watching them with a gentle smile. "You have found what you were looking for," he said simply. The traveler smiled back. There was no need for more words. And so, with the wisdom of silence in their heart, they continued their journey, not as a seeker, but as one who had finally found their way home. This is the lesson of the Buddha, that peace is not found in noise, but in silence. That wisdom is not in speaking endlessly, but in knowing when to be still. That the greatest truths of life are not taught through words, but through experience. So ask yourself, do you run from silence, or do you embrace it? Do you fill your life with distractions, or do you take the time to truly listen to yourself, to the world, to the wisdom that exists in stillness? Because the moment you stop running from silence, you will realize that it was never empty. It was always full of truth, full of understanding, full of the answers you were searching for all along. Embrace the quiet, and you will discover the boundless peace that has been waiting for you all this time.